This is the screencast for lesson 26 when we are going to learn about characters in Ascii codes. Turns out that in a computer, as we discussed in class, every entity is really represented by a number, and letters, symbols are really no exception. And we're going to manipulate these letters as numbers today to show how you can actually shift, transfer, modify these letters using their underpinning codes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our interactive Ruby, and we're going to see that if we take a letter like A and we try to make it an integer, actually nothing happens. We just get a 0. We have to do something special to translate A into the corresponding underlying number. And what we do here is we use a special method from the string class called ORD or ORD for ordinal. And if we do that, we see that lowercase a really maps to the number 97, and that lowercase b maps to the number 98. Similarly, uppercase a maps to the number 65, and you could guess what uppercase b will map to 66. So where do we find these numbers? Well, we find these numbers actually in something called the Ascii table. And what the Ascii table is there, you can just look it up, in Google. But this is a website, ascii-code.com, and you can see here a representation of all the characters. And the ones we're interested in are really the printable characters, and here they are. The number 65 right here is uppercase A, all the way to the number 90, which is uppercase Z, and then the number 97 is lowercase a, and number 122 is lowercase z. So we see that this corresponds to what we can do with this ORD command. So how do we use this to actually shift, transfer, manipulate these numbers? Well, we can see that if I do a.ord, I'm going to get the number 97. I could add 1, and at that point I'm just doing addition of numbers, and I see that I will get the number 98. So now I need another method, another way of transforming that 98 back to what it is as a character in the Ascii table. And the way you do that is with the CHR method. So let's first see how it works. If I do 98.chr, it will give me the lowercase b, the same way that 97.chr would give me the lowercase a. Or in other words, if we reprise what we did before, I could take the ordinal representation of lowercase a. I could add 1 to take the next character, translate that number back to a letter, and I would get lowercase b. So now that we have done this, we can actually apply this new knowledge to run a couple of tests. And again, this is what we did in class today. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new file. Screencast26.rb. And the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to write a loop that's going to use these numbers to print all the lowercase and all the uppercase characters. So print all lowercase and uppercase. So let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to say, well, we know that the offset from lowercase a or lowercase b starts at uppercase a starts at 0, and you can offset as many as 25 numbers to get to z. So we're going to start by creating a range that goes from 0 to 25, and we're going to loop through these numbers, and for each one of these numbers we're going to actually store this number in a variable called offset. So offset will be 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 25. And then what we're going to do with that is that we are going to print. And what we're going to print here is that we're going to print a.ord. So this is going to be the numeral representation the ASCII code for lowercase a, and then we're going to add the variable offset to that number, and then we're going to put that number back into character form. And that should give us basically the string from A to Z. And then we're going to do the same thing, but this time we will offset all from uppercase A using the same variable offset. And then when we are done looping, we will actually use a puts at the end just to make sure that we have a carriage return, make sure that we're actually getting all these characters onto the screen. And then when we execute this, so we're going to do Ruby like this, we can see that we're getting A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, F, F, etc. all the way to Z. So the second exercise we did in class was convert a lowercase string to uppercase without using uppercase. And here what we're going to do is that we're going to use the fact that there's actually a fixed offset between lowercase a and uppercase a, which in this case would be going from 97 to 65. In other words, if you subtract 32 from lowercase a, you will get uppercase a. And if you do the same thing from lowercase b, you will get uppercase b. So we're going to do the same thing here. And we're going to write we're going to define a new method which takes a string as a parameter. And we're going to go through all the characters of the string. And for each character in the string, we are going to basically subtract 32 from its ordinal number. How are we going to do that? We're going to say print, and then we are going to take the character C, right? And we are going to take the ordinal number from that character, and we're going to subtract from it its offset, its offset from lowercase a, right? So that's going to give us basically how many letters away from a we're going to be, and we are going to add this to the ordinal number from uppercase a, and then we're done with all of this. We're going to have a number which should actually give us the number, the ordinal number of the new letter, and we'll transform it again to a character. We will finish the loop, put a puts, and finish this. And now if I call on uppercase of lowercase string, what we should see on the screen is all of this in uppercase. So let's try it. And we see lowercase string all in uppercase here. So again, just to make sure everybody understands, let's say that the letter would be a B. We would be doing b.ord, and that would be 98, minus a.ord, that's 97, so we'd end up with an offset of 1. We'd add this 1 to the ordinal number of A, and an offset of 1 from ordinal of A would give us the number 65 plus 1, 66, which then converted to a character would give us uppercase B. So the use of ORD and CHR are really the basis for problem set number 6 on the Caesar cipher. And that concludes this screencast.